On May 25, 2025, President Macron and his wife Brigitte landed in Hanoi, Vietnam. As the cabin door slowly opened, everyone expected the usual polished image of a global leader's smile. But what the camera captured instead was Brigitte slamming both hands straight into Macron's face. Quick, clean, and completely out of nowhere. The internet went wild. The memes exploded across TikTok, YouTube, and Bilibili. Someone even joked, the most dangerous place in France is a president's face. Macron later explained that it was just a playful moment between husband and wife, a sign of being relaxed. But then, body language experts and lip readers jumped in. They pointed out that move two hands straight to the face actually signals anger, deep frustration, and even a desire to dominate.
This isn't play fighting. That doesn't have, if you're play fighting with somebody and you push them, it usually happens in the chest or in the shoulders. And then you both laugh and you stand close together almost every time. So this is what's happening can be looked at one of two things. It's either a defensive maneuver, where she's got both hands on his chin and pushing up and away, or it could be just an aggressive maneuver because maybe she's angry, something like that. So usually it's just one hand when you do that, but using both, there's a lot going on there. And I think it got a little heavier before what we saw. It was probably going to get heavier after that.
So, after all the laughs, in today's video, we will talk about female rage. Let's start with that one slap and unpack what female rage really means. Is it empowerment, resistance, or could it be emotional violence in disguise? And why does female rage look so different between East and West? For a long time, mainstream culture has preferred women to be calm, rational, and gentle. The moment a woman gets angry, she's often labeled as hysterical, unstable, or just plain crazy. But anger is one of the most natural human emotions, and for women, it's been one of the most silenced. After the Me Too movement, things started to shift. We began to see more angry women on screen, like the cold, obsessive killer in Killing Eve. Or the resistance fighters in The Handmaid's Tale, rising up against a brutal patriarchal regime. These stories remind us female rage isn't madness, it's boundary setting. It's a response to injustice, and most importantly, it tells us women's emotions don't always have to be soft and pretty. By 2022, female rage had gone from hidden to iconic. A new wave of what critics called brutal new icons emerged. Unyielding, fierce, unapologetic women reshaping what power looks like on screen. Think of Mia Goth in Eggs and Pearl, a terrifying unhinged girl on Killing Spear. Or Anya Taylor-Joy in The Menu and Last Night in Soho, spiraling into psychological breakdown, then clawing her way back. Or the Korean drama The Glory, where a school bullying victim takes a decade to plot and execute a cold, calculated revenge. Once upon a time, angry women could only cry. Now, they plot, they fight back, they take control of the narrative. No longer just emotional wrecks, but tacticians, avengers, and the new face of revenge itself. Female rage at its best is a wake-up call, a demand for justice, a reclaiming of space, dignity, and voice. But what happens when it loses that moral anchor, when it stops being about fairness and starts being about control? That's when rage mutates. It stops being a way to protest yourself and starts becoming a tool to humiliate others, to control, even punish others. This is what some call toxic femininity. When womanhood becomes a shield, but emotion becomes a sword to bully, shame, or manipulate, at that point, it's not empowerment, it's emotional power play. Let's go back to Brigitte Macron's viral face push. Why didn't the internet cheer? Why did people say, poor Macron, instead of you go, lady? Because that marriage carries power dynamics. Brigitte was Macron's middle school teacher, 24 years older. Years later, the student became president, the teacher became first lady. In France, this story was painted as a fairy tale of free love. But when that fairy tale suddenly turned into a viral slap, what people saw wasn't romance. It was control wrapped in affection. Brigitte isn't just a partner. She's his mentor, his image architect. She helped make the Macron we see today. So, when she pushed his face in public, I didn't feel like a moment of frustration. It felt like a message. I made you, I control you. Not boundary setting, boundary crossing. In the West, female rage is often loud, it's raw, it doesn't explain, it doesn't apologize. Over time, it even became a kind of wild feminist signature. But that doesn't mean it's simple. The films have dug deeper into the female psyche, exploring the relentlessness of ambition and the emotional toll of being ignored, silenced, or dismissed. They moved beyond Hollywood one's superficial fascination with the violent women toward something more layered, more human. Take Gone Girl's Amidon, who faked her own disappearance to punish her cheating husband. She's brilliant, terrifying, and the embodiment of intelligent female rage.
Off he goes, and the clock is ticking. Meticulously stage your crime scene, with just enough mistakes to raise the specter of doubt.
Or Black Swan. Here, female rage turns inward. Perfectionism, pressure, self-doubt. All tightening around Nina's mind, she's battling the voice inside her until those voices break her. Her rage is psychological, obsessive, self-destructive, a battle entirely within. But Asia female rage, it contrasts to the Western focus on individual psychological unraveling. This rage is a rebelling against structure. It's more like a volcano, silent on the outside, burning on the inside. From a young age, many Asian women are taught to be understanding, gentle, reasonable. At home, at work, in love, they are taught to yield, to stay quiet, to endure. Anger isn't encouraged, it's not expressed. Sometimes it's not even allowed. So, when Asian women do get angry, they don't scream, they plan. Their revenge is not loud, but precise, and often terrifyingly calm. Like in the Korean drama The Glory, the main character, Moon Dong-an, was brutally bullied as a teen, but instead of exploding, she disappears. 10 years later, she comes back, not to cry, but to destroy. Her rage is quiet, measured, almost polite. But underneath is a direct mirror of real-life emotional suppression. Or take Send Me to the Clouds, a Chinese film. Actress Yao Chen plays a woman facing cancer, joblessness, and a lifetime of being told how to be a good woman. Her response? An absurd, desperate journey of self-discovery and sexual autonomy. It's darkly funny and deeply subversive. Her rage doesn't explode, it outsmarts, a quiet defiance, sharpened like a blade. Then there's Rage, a Japanese film. Actress Aika's anger explodes not in shouting, but in shame, breakdown, and self-destruction. Her pain isn't just emotional, it's cultural. Every word she speaks, every glance she gives, feels like a silent scream against the idea that silence is a virtue. But when these buried emotions meet cross-cultural friction, when Asian women move abroad and face a mix of racism, sexism, and cultural dissonance, that quiet volcano, it blows. And that brings us to Beef. Amy seems to have it all, a career, a family, and a model Asian woman image. But behind the smiles and politeness, she's cracking. One Red Emerald Ridge incident, and boom! Everything unravels. She spirals, yelling, fighting, sabotaging. Finally, her rage is visible.
Where are you at? What are you doing?
What makes Beef so special? It's not about success, it's about the mess, the breakdown, the rage, and the humanity that survives it. For once, an Asian woman gets to fall apart, to fall from grace, to be messy, to regret things, to start over. As one review puts it, quiet grief and rage screaming inside while smiling. That feeling, the smile that hides the burn, that's the real face of rage for so many Asian women. Beef gave it a voice. But here's a twist. Asian rage doesn't always stay righteous. Sometimes it twists. Take Mrs. Noisy, a Japanese film based on a real woman who became infamous as the most hated woman in Japan. Every day, she beat futons on the balcony, slammed doors. She used rage as noise to fight her isolation, her pain. The film reveals her backstory, once a writer, crushed by life. But she turned her rage into a violent backlash against a broken reality, lashing out at others, misplacing her pain. Or in China, a viral clip showed a woman stepping out of her car in traffic, walking to the car ahead, and slapping a man across the face. No warning, no words, that's emotional violence. Rage, when aimed at injustice, can be brave, but when it lashes out at the innocent, it's not strength, it becomes toxic. As novelist Alif Shafak said, anger without love and empathy corrodes the soul. Real rage doesn't need to dominate to be heard. It doesn't prove its power by shaming the ones closest to us. Rage doesn't just burn. It illuminates, it says, it connects. We need to see more female rage, but also to ask, is this rage demanding change or just shifting pain? It's okay for rage to be messy, to break down, to not have all the answers, but it does need direction, empathy, and yes, love. Because without them, rage becomes the very thing it once resisted, and with them, it becomes something else entirely. A beginning of clarity, justice, and connection. Alright, that's all for today. If you like our video style, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Please drop a comment and I'd love to know, have you ever witnessed or felt female rage that surprised you? Thanks for watching. See you next time.